A robber with an IQ of 180 robbed a bank, but the bad guys didn't take the money. Instead, they made the hostages take off all their clothes, for sex. But they didn't hurt anyone. Then when the police stormed in, they found out there were no robbers in the bank. Even the weapons they found were toy guns. Not only was there no money missing from the vault, and no hostages were hurt, it seems like the robbery never happened. But in fact, the robbers made a whopping $5 billion. So how did they do it? The leader's name is Owen. He disguised himself as a worker and walked into the bank. Then he took out an infrared searchlight to destroy the surveillance. And then his team came in and unlocked the bank's doors. When the security guard realized something was wrong and was about to ask questions, a cold object was pressed against his waist. And then the show began. The robbers had everyone under control with ease. A passing patrolman noticed something wrong in the bank. He immediately called the police. Soon a large number of SWAT officers arrived and surrounded the bank. But Owen didn't panic, because it was all part of his plan. He had his teammates take the hostages' cell phones and keys. Then he had the hostages take off their clothes and change into uniforms. And the robbers put on the same clothes and masks. Then they put the hostages into different rooms at random. At that moment, the old man suddenly became unwell. Owen immediately sent him out for medical attention. This can show his humanitarianism to stabilize the hostages. At the same time, it's also a provocation to the police. It is reasonable to say that after all the preparations, it's time for them to get down to business. But Owen didn't get excited when he saw all the cash in the room and ignored the more valuable safe. He ended up in a utility room. He looked around and said, "This is perfect." Then he had his partner move the shelves and start smashing the floor. And what he really wanted, you'll never guess. The police sent Kyle, who has experience in negotiating, to run the operation. Kyle tried to contact Owen on the phone, but Owen wouldn't talk to him, and the security cameras have all been destroyed. Kyle didn't know anything about the bank, and when he didn't have a clue, Owen suddenly released another hostage. This one had a big box around his neck. The police were afraid that there were weapons inside, so they handled it very carefully. Inside the case was a letter from Owen. He asked the police to bring them 2 fueled buses and a fueled helicopter by 9 p.m. Otherwise, every hour after that, they'll send a man to God. Then the robbers delivered a long note with even more horrific demands.